The following program is for entertainment purposes only. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. You must be 21 years or older and present in a state where wagering is legal. All bets that are placed are at your own risk. Welcome to the deep end of the sports book. This is Unnecessary Wagers, an original production of the Empty the Bench Network. This is the show where the mainstream lines are just the starting point, and no prop is too obscure to be ignored. We look through to find the value in the margins and the wins lying in the weeds. So, to help you find your way to the window, here are two guys who never see a long shot they don't like. Please welcome your hosts, Conor Rowland and Nate Miller.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday. It is 5 o'clock. And that means one thing and one thing only. It is time for Unnecessary Wagers. And last week, this time, these Pittsburgh Pirates right here, they took down your Twins. They swept them. They walked them off on Friday. That was electric. They swept you guys.
You know what was the worst part about watching that happen? Like, absolutely the worst part was not me having to meet you, like, here on this show later. It was watching them give up homers and then keep the guy who cooked the game in the first place in the game. I was like, what's the grand plan here? Like, explain this to me like I'm stupid, because I must be stupid if I think that keeping the guy in that led up all these runs is suddenly going to turn the game around for us.
I mean, I think maybe they're playing. I mean, Derek Shelton has never really been able to win games at PNC Park, so maybe he's cursed as a manager. Regardless, though, I was all for it. I had a great time watching the Pirates play this. Hey, this last week has been great for the Pirates outside of us blowing a 4-run lead, 5-run lead in the 7th, whatever it was, against Houston. That was heartbreaking and earth-shattering and terrible. But, you know, we're on the come-up now.
Dude, I don't even want to talk about what Taj Bradley did, literally. I think it was last night. I watched him play, and I was like, this is supposed to be our best pitcher, by the way. I joked to my coworker earlier today because he was making fun of me yesterday, and I was like, and I didn't mean to dig at him when I said this, but I meant it honestly, like it came from the soul. For a split second, I got what it felt like to be a Boston Red Sox fan. Like, pitching's supposed to be their strength, and for the most part, their pitching department sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a lot of good baseball going on, a lot of bad baseball going on right now, but that's just, hey, we're in that swing of things now, being that we're in June. And not only is there that, but like you just put up what we're starting with, we got not only Stanley Cup finals, but NBA finals going on right now. What I think is a super fun, entertaining series, and we're heading into game 2 tonight with the Knicks currently leading that series 1-0.
And, you know, I really want to talk about this. I wanted to start with this because here's the thing. This is a bet that I made like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, rather, because I heard that there was rumors that the Rams were going to pick up were going to acquire somebody that was going to be truly like groundbreaking. And I personally thought that that AD was just going to come out of retirement. So I made a bet for the Knicks to win the NBA Finals, for the Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup, and for the Rams to win the Super Bowl back when they were at like plus, like, I want to say like 1,000 plus 950. And then that same week, Myles Garrett gets traded. Knicks win game 1. And the Golden Knights win game 1 as well. So I'm sitting so nice and pretty. I personally believe that the Knicks are going to win it all. And I think about it for 3 reasons. One, I think the NBA is desperate for a really nice media campaign, and there's no better setup than this revenge rematch. The amount of fans they'll be able to pull in, fresh fans, off of the Knicks winning the NBA, it's really going to help their numbers. I do think storylines matter on sports organizations because the NBA and the NFL and a lot of other sports organizations are media organizations first, sports agencies second. So, you could say the storyline is written that the Knicks are going to win, but the main reason why I think the Knicks are going to win is because the Knicks' starting roster is the dream team, essentially. It's every single one of those guys can hoop. When you look at the Spurs, you have Wemby, you have Fox, you have Castle, and literally that's kind of it.
You got Dylan Harper too. Dylan Harper's been playing really, really well. He had he was good in game 1 off the bench.
He was, but let's keep in mind his usage shined when Wemby was tanking that game. Like Wemby wasn't playing all that well, personally.
Yeah.
So if Wemby's hot, that guy's not going to get as much usage. I personally believe that you can't take a team of 3 good guys and put them up against a team of 5 or 6 really good guys and expect to win. It's just a numbers game. If you shut down Wemby, I don't think the Spurs have a credible offense.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it runs through Wemby. There's nothing to dispute that. But I wouldn't say that it's that lopsided towards the Knicks, honestly. I think the Spurs are going to come back and win game 2 tonight. And looking throughout the regular season, yeah, I think the Knicks went 3-1 against the Spurs in the regular season. So as history's told us, I mean, they've beaten the Spurs a lot more than they've beaten the Knicks. But on the other hand of that, I mean, this is a completely different atmosphere. This is the NBA Finals. I think Wemby's going to have an incredible game tonight. I think he's going to be very upset being down 1-0 in this series. I think he's going to go out. I think he's going to ball out. I think he's going to take over, and San Antonio is definitely going to be loud. So I would take the Spurs tonight. I still have faith in them to win the series in 6. I thought that New York was going to take one of these first 2 games in San Antonio. Or I thought they were going to take one of the first 3 games of the series. I just wasn't quite sure which one. I expected more so maybe game 2 or 3. But I'm not surprised that the Knicks won a game early in this series. I still think that the Spurs are the better team personally. And I have Spurs in 6. I might need to move that prediction to Spurs in 7 to be safe. But I'm standing my ground. I'm sticking with Spurs in 6. And I'm definitely riding with them again tonight at home.
Here's my take on this is that this game is, forgive me for saying this because I think a lot of Knicks fans are jumping the gun right now, and I'm a Pistons fan, right? So like but I'm from Long Island. I have a dog in this fight in the sense that with the Pistons being gone, I have to rep the Knicks, and so I know not a lot of Knicks fans are jumping the gun with their over enthusiasm. They've made it. They're here. We're not going home without a championship. This is the most important game. If the Knicks win this game, the Spurs are cooked. If the Spurs win this game, then it will be a competitive series. If the Knicks win, series is already over. You're not coming back.
I think they could come back from down 2-0. It wouldn't be flashy. They would probably it would probably be 3-1 Knicks going back to San Antonio, and they would have to do it that way. That's how, if the Knicks win this game tonight, that's the case scenario. They split at MSG. There's no way the Knicks sweep the Spurs, in my opinion. I just don't foresee that happening.
The only way the Spurs are going to bring back this series if they lose tonight's game is if Scott Foster's and Tony Brothers both throw on a Spurs jersey and decide to play. Like that's the only and like, again, I know I was just saying, I know a lot of Knicks fans are jumping the gun here. Like, so like, I know like I'm also doing the same. But like I just don't see that they got that juice in them,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about this series for me. Like I said, I'm with the Spurs. Like the money I have right now, like futures and everything that I've placed since like January, like everything's pointing at Spurs right now.
You put the Spurs to win the champs back in January?
Yeah, that's just what I'm hoping for. Well, Well, actually, now that I think about it, that was parlayed with the Pistons to win the East. So that future actually doesn't matter anymore now that I think about it. But I do still have money on them to win this series. So regardless, I do still – dang, I'm actually really upset reminding myself now that I don't have that future anymore. That was like plus 4,000. Regardless, though, I still have money on them to win this series. I like them to win this series. I'm hoping that they win this series. And I'm also just having fun betting on Wembanyama. I mean, he's just cashing his overs, like, pretty consistent. I take him well, maybe not like his like standard money line over, but I've been taking him 25 plus pretty consistently in these playoffs, and he hasn't really disappointed me. That and 12 rebounds. I've loved those bets with Wemby. Josh Hart, though, he's been a problem on the boards. He was stealing boards from Wemby 100%. He had 15 in game 1. So I don't know if they let him do that again. I'm interested to see how they defend that.
Taking Wemby, because I almost every game that the Spurs have played, like, as I call it as like a parlay patter, I'll literally just take Wemby for a double-double. Like it hits more often than not, and it usually hovers around like in the regular season it was like -600 to happen. Once the playoffs started to happen and more competitive teams started to get introduced, it dropped down to like -400. The lowest I ever saw it go was -320 when he had like a real bad game one game.
It's -330 tonight,
which I think is very lucrative. But the issue is, the reason I wouldn't take it now is because, as you said, you have Josh Hart, OG, and Karl Ann Towns, all of which have the size and the stature to sit in the post and wait for the rebound or fight for it. So
that's why it's down to 330. I mean, it's tough. Honestly, I don't. That's the tough thing is, like, is there anyone that's really a decent bet for a double-double in this game? Like,
I would say Jalen Brunson, because
Jalen Brunson's plus 650, and I was gonna say, like, I kind of like that. I think he could get 10 assists, but I don't know if he gets 10 assists this game is the problem. I feel like they dial in on the defense a little bit more and lock him down tonight. I could see maybe like game 3. Bet, like, first finals game
the beauty of it, though.
In 27 years, betting on him for a double-double 100%.
Well, that's the beauty of it, though, because if you know that they're going to lock him down, first of all, even locked down, I fully believe Jalen Brunson can get 10 points. So let's put that side of the double-double to the inside.
He'll get 10 points.
If they're locking him down, the only thing that leaves for him as a team leader and the coordinator of the offense is to run the ball for assists. So by locking him down, you're pretty much forcing him to feed assists for the rest of the game if he wants to continue to contribute to the offense. So when I see shit like that, when the game plan is lock Brunson down, I'm taking the over on his assists. As long as the rest of the team continues to shoot well, he's going to get 10 assists because that is the only way he can stay productive in this offense with getting locked up.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that I've talked myself into potentially wanting to bet his double-double tonight now that I think about it. Because even if he does get locked down, like you said, like, he still has other guys on his team that he's going to be able to feed that are going to make shots. Like, I'm going to go check it right now. I'm not sure how many assists he had. I think
he averages around like 7 assists a game. 7.4 was last I looked, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pulling it up.
He had 5 last game, but he missed some time in the first half with that injury.
That's another thing I'm worried about. That's the only thing that's making me hesitate on the double-double.
He had 2. He had 2. I'm sorry. He had 5 against his last game against Cleveland. He has 2 last night against San Antonio. His over is 6.5 tonight. It's plus 122.
Yeah. So what makes me nervous is his ankle's worse than it is. That's what makes me actually hesitate from taking him on a double-double, is because if his ankle is in fact worse than it is, then we could see reduced playtime. We could see the Knicks almost kind of like folding this game, trying to play the long game and like making sure that they rest Brunson. You know, it'd be risky to basically cede the game to the Spurs, but in favor of letting your star player rest an extra couple days.
Well, the thing for me is, like, it's the finals. Like, these guys, if it's not serious, like, they're going to play through it. So I'd say we're not going to see less of Brunson. I think we might just potentially see like a hobbled Brunson tonight. Not like nothing terrible, like, oh, he looks so much worse because he's injured. But maybe instead of the 100% like he's been playing at throughout the entirety of this postseason, he's ticked down to like 90 or something tonight. Like, he's not bad by any means. He's just, I don't think he'll be at his best necessarily. Now, that's just speculation. It would be great if he came out and played great because that just makes it, better game, more competitive series. But we're going to have to see, like, how is the ankle held up since game 1? That's like something that, it's a gamble. Like, you're betting, if you're taking these props, you're betting on, oh, will he be fine? Is he shaking this off, or might he be hindered by this a little bit?
It's a fair point. I think this also brings us up to a great point because I mentioned at the start of all this that I took a very early bet, and so did you. You took an early bet on the finals. I took an early bet on the Super Bowls. And I do want to bring this up because it's a great time to parlay these things together. You can still have time to take someone for the Stanley Cup. You still have time to take someone for the NBA Finals. You still have, obviously, a lot of time to take somebody for the Super Bowl. Why am I discussing Super Bowl predictions now? Well, it's a perfect example as to why. The Rams have made an amazing trade. They're going all in this season. They're getting rid of all their future pick potential. But here's where I think is going to be the beauty of the Rams winning the Super Bowl. I do think AD is coming back. Even if he's at 40%, he's still going to come back because worst case scenario, he's like OBJ. He's on the sidelines. He hops in for a snap or two. He tries to help out where and when he can. And he walks away with the ring.
Though, that's not Aaron Donald. If he comes back, he's not going to be there to be like a sideline mascot.
No, he's not.
If he's coming back, it's going to be because he's gotten himself in the condition, in the shape, and the mindset to play 95% of the defensive snaps that year. Like he's going to be the guy if he comes back.
I would agree that's the mentality of the player that was. But at the same token, I always say that, if you get paid, let's say they give him the veteran minimum, right? He gets veteran minimum, but a guaranteed shot at a ring. Even if your body's not ready to go, wouldn't you take that just for the chance of the ring? I think he would. I think any player would. And so
I don't think he would for two reasons.
What's that?
He has one already, and this is his Hall of Fame eligibility year. Like, if he comes back this year, he's going to have to wait a full another 5 years to get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Which, honestly, is that a huge concern? You're going. Does it matter if it happens now or 5 years later with an extra ring on your finger? I don't think look, if I knew I was going to the Hall of Fame, it wouldn't care when it happened. I know it's going to happen. So if you give me a last ride, you give me a Phillip Rivers situation, fuck it, we ball. Even if I'm like 40 pounds overweight and I wheeze just doing the natural 40-yard dash, I'll still put the pads on. But I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. I think this is going to be huge for them. I also want to make a point here and say I do not think that the Rams have given up everything for the following season. Not this season upcoming, but the following season after that. And the reason why is I don't think Ty Simpson is going to get the play he's expecting at the Rams. I think Sean McVay is going to use Ty Simpson as draft capital to get back some of what they traded for Myles Garrett. So for everyone saying that, if the Rams don't make it, they're cooked. No, they'll still have a stacked team. They'll still have a chance to recoup some of that draft capital. I don't think they're rolling with Ty Simpson. And I think the plan is still eventually when Stafford retires, see if they can get either Allen or Burrow. Allen's locked in a contract for the next, I think, 5 years.
Something like that, yeah.
5 years. So I think a lot of fans who are suggesting Allen might not know the logistics, and they're just thinking he'll look good with the jersey on. But I think Burrow, it will go to the Rams following this next Super Bowl showcase.
I agree with you. I think it's funny how that seems to work. Like all the fans get an idea, and then all this NFL media starts talking about it. Kind of like the AJ Brown thing. It just kind of becomes this idea of Burrow's going to go to the Rams after this. People start speculating about it less, and just it starts to make so much sense the more everyone talks about it that you're like, oh, they're just going to do this. They've heard about this idea that everyone has come up with. Burrow should just go to the Rams. And I think logically, it makes a whole bunch of sense too. I mean,
and we talked about this on the ETB Lounge, I want to say around the draft day. And I remember Nick DiMartino was like, what reason would he have to go to the Rams? And I was so confused by that. I believe it was Nick DiMartino. Might have been somebody else on that panel. I apologize if I'm wrong. But I remember being thoroughly confused by the question because, dog, what do you mean? What does he have? What reason does he have? What reason does he have to stay with the Bengals? He's ruining his career there and his body.
Yeah, the Bengals are heading back into the basement of that division with the Browns, both under 8-win teams, probably within the next 2 years.
Dude,
because if Burrow's gone, Chase has no reason to stay. He's tired of duds throwing to him. So he's gonna find his way out. Maybe.
I think I would love to see Jamar Chase have a reunion with Jefferson. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson on the same team should be fucking illegal. The only way that they could ruin that is
if he went to Minnesota.
the only way they could ruin that, and I'm asking that as a Lions fan, because like here's my view of the league at large, or my division, right? I don't give a shit about the Packers. The Packers suck. They're so bad. They're the best bad team in the league, in my opinion. That's just that. The Bears are our only real competition because they have some really talented players, but they also have our offensive mastermind. So pretty much anything we run, this guy knows. So it's tough there. I don't really give a shit about the Vikings, but they're frisky, and I like watching them play, especially with Kyler Murray behind the bench there, or behind the ball. I do like Kyler Murray as a player. And that's just it. Like, I know there's more to that league besides, the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings and the Bears. Like, I know I should say there's more to that league, but I know that there's a lot more moving parts. But I would love to see Jamar Chase go to the Vikings and make that division even more competitive, because it's just good football, man. It's good to watch.
It would be interesting. I mean, I don't know. This will probably all be stuff that doesn't come to fruition until late next year, because I think the Bengals will have all these guys for this year. This is like the Bengals' last chance, basically, with these guys.
Yeah, but it's the last. Here's my question: it's the last chance for what? Like, what are you building towards right now? Because everything I've seen,
trying to get back to that Super Bowl, right?
I don't think they made any moves that could support that, to be honest.
I don't think they have either, but like I think that at the same time they're like trying to do the best they can to do it so they can keep Burrow and Chase around, because like this is a team that it's now been 5 years since the Bengals made the Super Bowl. Like it felt like, which doesn't feel like that long ago, but that's a lot of seasons. That was a lot of close calls and good seasons for the Bengals that panned out bad, and then now the era of amazing offense and absolutely abysmal defense. Like, it's starting to unravel, and with all the, Burrow to LA rumors, and Chase going to probably want to leave if Burrow leaves, and you'll probably be forced to deal him for salary reasons. I mean, it just feels like this is all pointing towards this is the Bengals' last year to do anything with these guys. And like you said, they haven't really done anything like super striking to try to do that. I think they're just gonna go out with the same formula again and be like, maybe it'll work this time. Maybe we can put up 70 points a game this year, so when we give up 50, we still win. Like, I don't know what's going on in their minds, but I just cannot foresee the storylines around Cincinnati being anything but like, oh, like, this is where Burrow trade rumors, Burrow's playing bad. Oh, here's a Jamar Chase quote from a press conference that makes it seem like he's upset. Oops, someone unfollowed the Bengals on Instagram. Like, all that stuff.
It all coalesces this season.
Yeah. I love their win under. Like, that's
actually a really good stat line to take. Bet the under on how many wins they'll have this season. That's crazy. I didn't even think of that.
I can't find the over under for win totals right now. I can just see like win this games or more. Or wait, actually, you can get Bengals under 7.5 wins for plus 330, which is like not even terrible.
Well, and then also, like, actually, let me pull this up. Not we won't spend too much time, but I'm just curious now. Who are they playing? Let's take a look. So
they'll have a third place schedule.
Let's see. All right. So week 1, they're playing the Buccaneers, Texans, Steelers, Jags, Dolphins, Ravens, Titans. So, and the Titans is a team I'm going to be curious about. They have really great roster acquisitions in the sense of coaching staff, and I'm really curious to see what Cam Ward does with a little bit more support. But
they picked up Carnell Tate in the draft too. Nice little fun wide receiver piece for Cam Ward.
Let's say argumentatively,
right? Is Tony Pollard still there this year?
Yes.
He's a back I always have liked. I think he's a really solid running back that can be decent for an offense like this.
So I can tell you, out of these 8 games, the only game that the Bengals should win is the Titans. I mean, and I don't even give them the benefit of the doubt against the Dolphins, because I think Malik Willis is a goated QB. I don't know who he's going to pass to or play with, since they got rid of everyone that was important. But through 8 weeks, that's only one guaranteed win. And then you look at the rest of the season, he's got Falcons, I don't see them winning that. Commanders, I don't really see that. Saints, not with the way Schuster's been playing. Browns, that's a toss-up. So, yeah, like looking
They
at this right
probably beat the Browns twice.
Yeah, looking at this, like I would say like right now, I'm only looking at like 3 games that they like for sure win. So that's a really good take on the under.
Yeah, and that's the lowest you can take it at too, and with the highest odds. Under 7.5 is plus 330. You can play it a little safer, go 8.5 plus 200, 9.5 is plus 120, but I like those unders.
And I'm sure everyone likes all the Bengals fans that are watching us right now. All 3 of them are like, oh, they're the most like electric underdogs, which that can be your favorite underdog, but our responsibility here is to talk about the underdogs who might actually win and pay out. So with that in mind, I think we should jump into baseball here and give a little. Oh, actually, wait, no, I jumped the gun here. Before we talk about baseball, I do have to talk about a show. It's Saturday at 5 p.m. to 2 Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. for all my Pacific folks. It is Between the Ropes with Christy Wilson. The world of professional wrestling and combat sports moves by the hour, but Christy Wilson keeps you right between the ropes. Join us every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. for your Pacific fellows, for an inside look at the squared circle. From executive extensions and streaming shakeups to the forbidden door drama across major promotions, we break down title shifts, contract news, and the fallout of every major betrayal. Like Sean Strickland feeling like he's been banned from the White House. Whether it's the road to WrestleMania or the latest industry-shaking pay-per-view, Christy has the pulse of the industry. Only on the Bench Network. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because that's where you get the best content. Now we can talk about baseball.
Let's play a game called Guess How Many Runs the Cubs Are Losing By.
I'm going to go 12.
More.
What? What? Hold up.
Keep guessing. Keep guessing.
Okay. 15. 18. 17. 16?
They're down 16-0 to the Giants.
What the fuck?
At home.
Dude,
they're being out-hit 17-2. Normally when you hear San Fran's beating Chicago 16-0, you're like, oh, Niners-Bears is a 2-possession game. Nice. No. This is baseball. This is Giants-Cubs. They're down 16.
Who started the game pitching? It wasn't Webb.
This is unprecedented. Like, what is happening to the Cubs? The Cubs started Robbie Ray today. Or, no, the Pirates, jeez. The Giants, started Robbie Ray today. And the Cubs started Edward Cabrera. Cabrera gave up 8 of the runs.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
And
then Phil Matone came in. He gave up 1 run. And then Hobie Milner came in, and he gave up 6. And then Ethan Roberts.
How many strikeouts did Robbie have?
So, how do you feel about betting these like massively large spreads in games like this? Like, because you can still live bet this game spread wise. Like, do you tend to lead like, oh, the going's gonna get worse? Let me bet like Giants like minus 15.5, or do you say, oh no, the Cubs are gonna close the gap and you take the plus 15.5? Which way do you tend to lead whenever it's a blowout game that you're able to live bet?
If it wasn't for the sake that they were losing to the Giants, as demoralizing as that must be, as bad as it is, I would always say, oh, a competitive team like the Cubs, they're going to shore this back. They're going to get their get back. They're going to get a run or two before this closes out. But when you're losing 16-0 against the Giants of all teams, I feel like everyone in that dugout just wants the day to be over.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, this is...
If I'm a professional athlete and I get paid a shit ton of money to win and I'm losing like this to the Giants of all people, I'm already on my phone texting my wife saying, yo, do you want to get like K-plate or Korean barbecue later? Let's get some sake. Let's get some soju. I'm already planning my evening. Get me the fuck out of here. I'll show up tomorrow. I'll show up game ready. But right now, I'm just punching a clock.
Yeah, I mean, I was accurate in it. The spread is minus 15.5 right now. Minus 110 for that, minus 120 for the plus 15.5. But
it's plus 14.5 on DraftKings.
That's a crazy game to start off with. I mean, as a series, I thought going into this that the Cubs, they play the Giants, then the Rockies, then the Giants, then the Rockies. 12 straight games against the two worst teams in the National League. And they're not starting off on a great foot here. Like, this is a stretch for the Cubs that you expect to win over the course of these 12 games, at least 9 of them, I feel like.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, like these surprising performances, because I lost a lot of money with the Tigers beating the Rays as they did. You know, I'm a Detroit guy. I love my Pistons. I love my Lions. I would love to be a Detroit Tigers fan, but they're just playing like shit. And like you said earlier before the show starts, even bad teams have their come-ups, have their good series. And I wasn't expecting the Tigers to be good. Good enough that, like, I'm looking at them differently for this Mariners game. I wouldn't say I like them as an underdog, but if the Tigers take away this game against the Mariners with Brian Wu on the mound, then the Tigers are for sure winning the series.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't say that about the Tigers right now for me. Like, when a team is bad, it is
bad.
It is hard to just know what you're going to get on the field, like, because the consistency is not there. So for me, like, it's easy to bet against those teams because obviously, as the records show, more often than not, things turn up sour for those poor teams. But you won't catch me putting any hard-earned money on the Tigers to win, especially against Brian Wu. I like Brian Wu this year. I think Valdez has been a disappointment. This could be a nice bounce-back game for him, but I don't have any faith in Detroit right now, which is crazy given where they were at over the course of the last 2 years as a franchise. I mean, you can say it all kind of started to show whenever they collapsed last year against Cleveland, like that 15.5 game divisional lead, whatever it was. I believe it was somewhere around there. And then, they beat them in the playoff series, and then they lost to the Mariners in 5 because they couldn't hit. Then they turned the calendar over. They didn't change anything into 2026 really on offense, and they still can't hit, and now you lose Skubal, and the rotation doesn't really pan out like you thought it would when you made the signings. It's
all leading towards staff change. It needs to happen. We just need to rip the Band-Aid off and be like, all right, you guys aren't doing good for our team. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, you need to revamp the offense a little bit. You need to trade Skubal this year. I mean, this is a good time to trade him. Get him on a team that's trying to make a last-minute playoff run.
So, okay, then.
It's not the Dodgers. For the love of God, please don't let it be the Dodgers. He can get traded to anyone else, and I'll be like, all right, whatever. Just not the Dodgers.
I feel like the Dodgers are collecting, like, the Avengers Assemble of, like, the best pitchers in the league right now. Like, you take any pitcher that's in their rotation, and they would be a dream addition to any team.
Yeah, I mean, the one reason I think they might not try to go – I mean, they could get Skubal. I just don't think they'd keep him after this year. I think there's a better chance of them trying to sign him in free agency than trading for him this year.
Oh, the Cubs got a point. They got to run.
Cubs got to run. All right. Hey, they got runners on the corners with 1 out. Ho. Watch out, San Francisco. They're only down 15.
Yeah, they'll sneak up on you.
Yeah.
But this gives us
Cubs
a great
win this game.
This gives us a great moment then, because I came up with a list of underdogs that I like for today, and I'm only mentioning the ones that I actually like. So if I'm not mentioning one, it's because I don't think they're there. Let's see if I match yours. I like the Pirates today against the Braves. I do.
Yeah, I had that one as well.
I like the Athletics against the Astros. I like the Reds against the Cardinals. I like the Royals, unfortunately, against the Twins. You have one of their best pitchers going up against the Twins right now. The Twins just haven't been performing hot. So the Royals are still an underdog. I think Michael Wacha is considered one of the Royals' best pitcher at the moment, I believe. I also like the Nationals against the Diamondbacks, but that is not like don't don't take my word on that one. I just like the Nationals because they made me a bunch of money in the last few weeks, so I feel obligated to like keep that gravy train running. But I don't like the games that I'm planning on staying away from is the White Sox is super alluring. You know, they've been performing really, really well recently, and they're plus 157 up against the Phillies. You know, an underdog better would like to take that. I would like to take that, but I feel like their hot streak has to come to an end, and it would make sense if it comes to an end against the Phillies. So I'd stay away from the Phillies game. I'd stay away from the Red Sox game. You know, I'd just stay away from the Red Sox in general. And I'd also stay away from the Orioles game because it's hard to predict how the Orioles are actually going to perform. Like they're so hit or miss. They also don't have a good late game presence. If they do succeed in a game, it's because they establish that run dominance, that run lead early on, and then they kind of coast and play defense from there.
Yeah. Honestly, so like for my underdogs, I agree with you. I like the Pirates tonight. I really, really like the Pirates tonight with Mitch Keller on the bump against Martin Perez. I think that favors us pitching. And if we win this first matchup, I think we win tomorrow with Braxton Ashcraft on the mound too. I mean, he posted a 1.99 ERA throughout May. He had a fantastic May. Hoping he can keep it up. I like the Mets. I kind of like the Mets, which is I never thought I'd say it, but the Padres have just been playing really, really bad as of late. Like their offense has been dormant. They got Michael King on the bump. The Mets are only plus 108. It's not something like I'm jumping at to bet like, oh, Mets are plus money on the road tonight. I love it, but it's one of the more likely upsets I think that I see tonight. And honestly, for me, that's it. There aren't too many underdogs that I love tonight. I think this is a big weekend. I think this weekend series is going to be a big weekend for favorites. I really do. I think this is a big favorites weekend, but maybe it's bias. I don't know, but I do think that the Pirates will potentially sneak out a series win just because of where they're at in their rotation right now. I mean, Paul Skeens hasn't been all that great. He's been our worst pitcher.
No, that's really disappointing to hear from a Pirates fan right now, to be honest.
But no, that's the thing. It's not like he's inherently terrible. It's just our rotation right now is being very, very our rotation right now is extremely good. The bullpen is terrible. Rotation has been playing fantastic, but Skeens has just been down. Like he's been giving up like 2-3 runs a game. So they're not
which shows just how talented he is if that's his down. Letting up 2-3 runs and that being a bad day for you, you know, it goes to show the skill level you perform at.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So I would have to say, you know, leading this well into our four-leggers, because we spat a bunch of information at you. We said, hey, we like this team. We like that team. We like this team. Let's boil it down to something that we can really package. Now, I recommend we come up with 2 4-legs here because one of my legs – I just know all sports events go one or the other, 50-50 at its core. But one of my legs is super risky. So
do we want to I come up with a 4-legger and you come up with a 4-legger? Do we want to do it like that this week?
Yeah, you know what? You come up with a 4-legger, I come up with a 4-legger, and then let's pick 2 from both of our legs and we'll see if we can make like a hybrid.
All right. So my first leg, I'm going to be taking the Pirates. It's a risky underdog pick. I'm not saying this is a lock in your parlay, like easy to toss in there. But I think for the value in the pitching matchup that we're in, I think it's a favorable matchup for the Pirates to steal and take it from a guy that watches this team like every day through the good and the bad. I know the ups, the downs, and Mitch Keller has been one of the ups this year. So with him on the bump, I'm taking the Pirates. I'm also going to take the Athletics on the road on the money line. I think actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to take that because honestly, I kind of do think Houston is going to win. What I am going to do though is take the over. These are 2 teams that really struggle to pitch. Athletics have been better as of late. I'm trying to think. I think the Astros gave up over 20 runs to the Pirates over the course of those 3 games. So neither team pitching particularly well. I like the Blue Jays at home tonight with Yesavage on the mound. I never know if it's Yesavage or Yesavage. I never know which way it is to
I
pronounce
think
it.
it's Yesavage.
I've heard it both ways. Honestly, I feel like I thought it was Yesavage, but then watching the World Series last year, they were like, no, it's Yesavage. But my final leg for my four-legger is Seattle Mariners on the money line going up against the Detroit Tigers and Framber Valdez. Like I told you, I thought they were just kind of – Tigers aren't very good right now. I think Framber's having a down year. I think this is – with Woo on the bump, I think this is a good night for the Mariners to steal one on the road.
That's a pretty good selection, honestly. I do have some similarities. So my 4 legs are I'll take the Knicks to win tonight. That's my risky leg. That's risky. I'll take the Knicks.
Gotta have a risky leg in there sometimes.
Gotta. I'll take the Knicks to win. I'll take the Mariners to win. I'll take the Brewers to win against the Rockies. I feel like that's kind of just like a fucking given. I hope.
That's good. That's a good pick.
And then I also taking, and it's funny because I have like 6 bets with Cleveland winning it, but now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm going to take the run line for the Rangers. I think they're going to beat them by 2 runs. So I'm taking the -1.5 run line for the Rangers. I think the only 2 ones that I would donate to like a melded parlay is I'd probably take the Brewers and I'd probably take the Rangers because the other 2 I'm not confident on. I don't know if the Tigers are going to show up mean.
I'm probably most confident, honestly, in the over and the Pirates. I mean, I think it might just be blind faith, but I really like the Pirates to win this game tonight. I don't know what it is. But on top of that, I also have my weekly – I haven't said it on the show the last couple of weeks. I'll start saying who my picks are. My weekly little $5 home run leg that'll bring back 5 figures if it hits. I got Yordan Alvarez. I got Nick Kurtz. I got O'Neal Cruz. I got Christian Yelich, and I got Ketel Marte. $5 brings back $13,000. So that would be nice. That'd be very nice.
You're not gonna have God, I blank on his name every single time. The home run leader for the White Sox.
He's hurt.
He's hurt?
Yeah, he pulled his hamstring last Friday. He's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Damn, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, that's why this is a tough spot for the White Sox right now. But they've held up so far without him, but they're about to go run a gauntlet.
It sucks too when I really think about players that I like to follow because you're not certain if they're just and this is true for all professional sports because you could be really good at a sport and the moment you go pro, you're just average at best given the talent pool of who you're playing against and with.
Yeah.
But I love following players. And it's just disappointing because, like, for example, one of my favorite players is Quan, and like he has not been good this year with the Guardians. And I can't tell if it's because, we're just in a talent-rich MLB, right now, or if this is regression. Last year, Quan was great. This year, he was supposed to be our designated hitter, and this year he has a batting average of like .239 at best, which is kind of fucking awful when he's supposed to be the guy that's supposed to get you the home runs.
Well, Stephen Kwan's more like your contact guy. Like he's not the power bat. He's the guy that gets you on the base.
Yeah.
You expect him to you need him to be hitting in a down year still like 270, 280. Like that should be a down year for Kwan. Like him hitting this bad. It's not like he's got the pop to just make up for it. Like he's an Aaron Judge who can like mentally bust out of a slump with a good swing, hit 450. Like Quan can't just do that on command. So when his average is not there, that also kind of messes the mental game up.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. Now, let's give us a chance to talk about some anchor picks. These are some picks that I think are really great just to throw in there. If you've got your own parlay going, you've got your own magic, you don't want to fuck with things, then great, fine. Do your thing. We give you the best of luck. We hope it hits, and if it does, tweet out to us. Let us know. Show some love. Show some success. I do think the Brewers is a good anchor pick. I do think the Spurs, in all likelihood, is a good anchor pick today. Like I want the Knicks to win, but I can't deny that a safe bet would be the Spurs. I think another great anchor pick is probably going to be the where are
Dodgers against the Angels.
Yeah, the Dodgers for sure. I would take the run.
The risky thing though is it's Detmers. It's Detmers against Sasaki tonight. So you're saying one of the better pitchers on a team against one of the not so good pitchers on the other team. It's the freeway. It's the freeway series, so it's a rivalry. You know, things can happen, but
I would actually take the under on Sasaki. His under is 6. 6 strikeouts.
I would honestly take the under for the game. I'd probably take under 8.5 runs for the game. I don't even think that's a bad pick because I just don't see – unless Shohei Ohtani just does that thing where he hits 3 home runs in a game because he's like, oh, you know what, playing the Angels, like I think I'll just pop off and make a little history tonight because he tends to like to do that. I think this game probably goes under.
I think the under is 8. Yeah, the under is 8.5. Which, you know, is not terrible. I think I'm going to throw on to my anchor picks. I would take the under on Sasaki because right now it's 5.5. And, you know, I'm not saying the Angels are good at bat, but the last 3 times I've watched Sasaki play in the last like month, it's not been great. Like people make content, like people don't really get runs on him because his team is there to back him up, but people get contact on him a lot. A lot of his outs come from the fact that it's a pop fly or a line out. He's not really striking people out.
I mean, this might be a hot take, but I've never really thought Roki Sasaki was all that good. I was behind the hype whenever he was like MLB teams were trying to sign him over from Japan and the Roki sweepstakes. Like I was in on that and like, all right, who's this kid going to be? Like, I'm excited to watch him. And then just since he's been on the Dodgers, he's not impressed me once. Like I've never been like, man, this guy's good. Like, he's not a guy who scares me. And I think the Dodgers, because of how much they paid for him, are really trying to push Sasaki to be that guy that they thought they were signing. But I don't think he's turning out. I also don't think Kyle Tucker is turning out very well for them. He's hitting like 220, I think, with not that many bombs for them this year. Kyle Tucker has not really been the guy that they paid, what was it, about $60 million a year for? 5 home runs, 243 average, 29 RBIs, 735 OPS. Like Kyle Tucker, you probably expected him more up in the 9s.
And you know, it's tragic too because even with this setback, the Dodgers are just still so dominant. I'm not saying that they're winning with their wallet, but
it helps when you can get Kyle Tucker. Like, could you imagine if like a smaller market team went to go out and get Tucker this year and he was having a down year? There would be all these talks about the bust of a contract that Kyle Tucker was. Mm-hmm. There would be like more people talking about it. But because he's just quietly on one of the best teams in baseball, the Dodgers, who just have every player that money can buy, people aren't really talking about it. I mean, he's having a terrible year. It's June and he doesn't even have 30 RBIs yet. He just hit his 5th home run 2 days ago.
You know, and it's I would say it's almost annoying how I feel like the Dodgers strategy, this is going to sound so dumb to say out loud because obviously it's not true, but it just feels this way. I feel like the Dodgers strategy is let's acquire really potentially talented players because we can afford it, and it also deprives other teams from having them. Like they're all they're hoarding talent at this point. At least that's what I feel like. Now, not every team can have their very own Taj Bradley. You know, sometimes you just got it, and other times you don't. Sometimes you have a star pitcher that lets up 5 home runs, and you stay on the mound because you just have that much aura. I don't know, but I mean, Taj Bradley let up 5 home runs in a game, and they kept him on the mound, and I'm still fucking really salty about it.
Let me throw some numbers at you real quick.
Sure.
Actually, that don't make any sense while we're on the topic of baseball. The Atlanta Braves are plus 1,000 to win the World Series. They're the 3rd favorite behind the plus 175 Dodgers and the plus 550 Yankees. Maybe a little high, but I don't think it's crazy. Dodgers are at the 3rd favorite. You know who's tied with them as well at plus 1,000?
Brewers.
The Seattle Mariners.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Are
they watching different games?
No. I mean, okay, so this is the thing. Like, they made the ALCS last year, and they didn't change much, and they've had some guys having down years, and it's a weak AL. So, like, I get why you might favor them a little more in the odds, but saying it's as likely they win the World Series as the Braves, like, that just seems terrible to me. I mean, you look at a team like the Texas Rangers are plus 2,700 to win the World Series. They have better odds than the Pirates, who are the first wild card team right now.
I'd probably take the Braves, honestly. The Braves would be my pick to win the World Series.
Honestly, I don't know. I never like making World Series picks this early. I like to wait until the All-Star break has happened.
Mm-hmm.
But if they keep it up, the scary thing is just like Atlanta seems to catch the injury bug around this time of year, man.
Yeah,
which is, you hate to say it, you hate to like even speak it into existence if it does happen, but it just always feels like, you've seen this story before. Braves start out hot. They catch the injury bug, but they make some really impressive moves at the deadline. They don't waver. They make the postseason, and then, whatever happens, happens. One year they won the World Series without Acuna even. Then a couple of other years since they've fallen up short. But the Braves with the injury bug scares me. Phillies and the Brewers are both at plus 1,800 right now. They are tied for the fourth best odds.
I like the Brewers a lot, man. They're like, even though like my two favorite teams to bet on so far this season has been the Brewers and the Guardians. I love the Twins. The Twins were electric in the beginning of the season. They were really dependable. They're not very dependable now. I am still a Twins fan, but the Brewers have such a great scoring, potential. And when I say potential, I don't mean they could be good. I mean, they are good. They every game they show up, most of the time they do well. Like I've watched more games of them put up double digit runs than I have any other team so far in baseball. But that's also probably because I watch more Brewers games than any other team in baseball. Yeah. So but for me, my picks would either be the Braves or the Brewers.
I don't think those are bad picks. Like I said, though, it's just you never know. AL's weak right now too, which is part of the reason why maybe they're giving so many AL teams good odds, is because they are like, hell, anyone can win this league this year. Because the AL is the most wide open I think I've ever seen a league in the MLB, where I'm like, wow, there's a lot of teams that kind of just could go on a run. Like, you're talking about 2 or 3 teams in every division that, like, depending on who the playoff pool is, there's no one that strong to where you're like, oh yeah, they'll run the table. Like, I think the American League playoffs this year, maybe the product or maybe the quality of teams won't be as good as the National League, but I think the competitiveness and the even like balancing of the games throughout all of the rounds in the American League, DS, CS, wild card round, I think we're going to get very good, evenly matched competitive baseball all throughout October in that league. And I'm very excited to watch it unfold, because you just don't know who's going to come out on top.
No, and that's what keeps it interesting. And I think with the last 2 minutes left, it is a great opportunity to discuss something very, very, very simple, at least for us, because I'm not a hockey guy. I don't think you're a hockey guy, right?
Kinda, a little bit. I know a thing or two.
With 3, 2, 1, let's just both say who we think's going to win the Stanley Cup.
All right.
3, 2, 1, Knights.
Canes. We differ.
I mean, we already knew I was going to take the Knights because I took them in a parlay, but I'm really curious to see how they go. For everyone who is looking for parlay patterns, if you've got a nice bankroll going, if you've got like $250 to spend, bracket up your 4-leggers, add a 5th leg. Take the 4 legs that you like, throw the Knights on one. Take that same 4 legs, throw the Canes on another. Break it down the middle, make some money. I really think hockey right now, these two teams, they're really great teams to just take either side on. The Canes are very dominant, but the Knights have a great team. It's a great parlay pattern. Even if you don't know anything about hockey, take a gamble.
I'm betting on storylines, man. I'll say it with the less than a minute we got to go before we close it out here. I'm betting on the storyline. Vegas, the best expansion team of all time as of right now. I don't think anyone's disputing that. 3 Stanley Cup Finals appearances now in less than a decade. 1 cup they've taken home. They're 1-1 right now, obviously, before the series is concluded in Stanley Cup Finals. And then you're going up against a team who hasn't won it in 20 years, has been falling short of getting to this dance time and time again in recent memory in the Eastern Conference Final. It's a fan base that has been hungry against a fan base that has consistently been fed. I'm going to go against the team playing for the hungry. I'm going to go Canes in 7.
Yeah, I would respect it. I'd understand it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today at Unnecessary Wagers. As always, please gamble responsibly. Enjoy the games. Make sure you take a break if you feel like you're losing your mind. And for the foreseeable future, don't bet on any Twins game that Taj Bradley is pitching on because he's a bum.
Or any Twins games at all if you value that money in your
let's take things slow, one step at a time. Thank you.
Eric Shelton is your manager, and you just traded for the Pirates' worst reliever and have been using him in games. So the reasons of why the Twins will continue to lose have just been piling up. There's more and more every week that I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't see me, it's because I decided to end it all in a closet. I love you all dearly. Unnecessary Wagers has been a blast. Please enjoy the rest of the weekend, and please, for the love of God, make sure you mind your dollars. Have a good one, everybody.